Right, hi guys. Just a quick chat with the five of us here on what's coming next. So basically, we've weather's turned. We've reached autumn. We've been through like a very different year this year with COVID. Um, Awful lot of people done very, very well, moving themselves on in very difficult circumstances. I think the community side of TTT has been great, and then at the end of it, a lot of great race results. You know, people knew each other better at the races. There were some great things to see at the end of the season there. So this is like a mini working group that's working on strength and conditioning as we head into the autumn phase. So what we're going to run through here is like the what, the who, and the why as to an approach to autumn that will work for many people. And I think if you all understand the process that we're going to lay out, then you'll have a successful period up till Christmas. It's something very new, different, and we're looking to put the effort into delivering it really well. So this is strength and conditioning in the autumn is nothing new. It's been around, it's tried and tested, and we're just rolling it out in a digital format that sort of suits the squad environment we've got at Total Tri now, and utilising the knowledge of all the coaching staff. So it doesn't matter who you coach by, you're getting the knowledge of experts here. So these guys on this team are, our guys to go to with the strength work. So I think Phil's going to kick off, I think, with the approach to autumn in general.
Yeah. I'd just like to try and get across to the guys listening that one of the big barriers to people doing a lot of strength work in the season is that it leaves you feeling quite tired. It leaves your legs sore. It leaves your arms sore, and you can often feel that it detracts a little bit from your aerobic training. But it's not often seen as one of the key sessions throughout the year. So it's very easy that your strength work gets dropped. And we don't gain any TSS from it. On Training Peaks, we don't really get any kudos for doing it. And you can't often see the main benefits once we're doing it. But if we do a strength program over a number of weeks, if not months, you can really see some benefits from it. But it has to be quite regular. And the winter time, really, the off season is probably the best time to do it. And probably have it in your program as one of the key sessions of the week. The aerobic volume and intensity will be lower than it's been all summer. So it'll be nice. You'll be feeling a little bit fresher, a little bit more recovered, hopefully. There aren't any races to get in the way, really, for most people. And we can therefore focus on trying to get stronger. And I think we have to just believe in that process, really, that the strength will come. We need to start off nice and basic and build it across the winter, and we'll progress it just like we do with all of our other key sessions. It will progress throughout the winter period. And I'm hoping that, a lot of athletes will buy into this, and the fact that there are some real good benefits from becoming stronger and making our body really nice and tough and able to handle what we're going to throw at it later in the year. And I know personally I've had a few issues in the past thinking, well, I don't want my biking fitness to drop off. I don't want my run fitness to drop off, or I need to work on my swim technique. There's always other competing things. But the winter time is a time of less pressure. So we probably need to accept that it is the best time to let some of those issues go and just believe in the process of getting stronger and building our bodies ready for the rest of the season. So that's my take on why it's really important for this time of year.
Just one question you'll definitely be able to answer. We discussed this yesterday in a coaches meeting, Phil, but when athletes are not doing the same amount of swim, bike and run, how much are they really losing?
Yeah, you don't lose much. I read some papers that if you rested for 6 to 8 weeks totally, that you would lose about 10% of your FTP, which, if you're at 300 and it goes to 270, it does feel a little bit drastic, but that's based on doing absolutely nothing. And those same studies show that it comes back within 6 to 8 weeks of training again. So, if we continue to do some aerobic training of any sort, plus the strength training, we probably stand to lose maybe 3 or 5% of that, in which case that's a normal ebb and flow of a season. We can't afford to be trying to be the same fitness, the same leanness, the same, all year. It's absolutely normal. to have a different focus in the winter. And we do just need to be believing in that fact that it's okay to lose some of that top end fitness at this time of year. Yeah.
And like you said, that's top end fitness. You know, aerobically, you'll be doing enough low level aerobic stuff with the strength work. You'll keep it. And ultimately, we are trying here to promote this idea of building a stronger foundation to build a higher peak off for next year. This theory's been around for decades, you know, and you know, just because it's been around that long doesn't mean it's been superseded. So
and obviously for anybody that's had injuries or is struggling with anything this year, it's the perfect time to really try to build around those injuries and work on some of the possible weaknesses and factors that's been causing that injury. Because if they don't do it now, it may go quiet while they reduce the aerobic intensity because they're not straining the body quite as much. But unfortunately, with my experience, it doesn't mean the problem's gone away. And although it might go quiet over winter, as soon as we repeat the things we've been doing, you know, in the height of this summer, the problem will probably start to recur. So we can't just bury our head in the sand. It's really important that we focus on rehabilitation as well.
Sure, yeah. So yeah, Rob, you definitely had some points to add to this on, you know, like how broad reaching strength plan is across any type of athlete.
Yeah, no, I think, I definitely agree with what Phil has said. And strength training for me is massively important for a triathlete. There's only so good you're going to get just from aerobic sessions or aerobic training. And as you said, like the strength element is massively important. And if you don't do it, there's only so far you're going to get in terms of triathlon performance. And from what I've seen from sort of age group athletes and elite athletes, that if you spend a good amount of time doing strength training in sort of October, November, along with aerobic fitness and no sort of bike sessions or run sessions, you actually don't really lose anything. And sometimes I've seen FTP go up. And what Phil was saying, that FTP goes down only 10% if you do nothing. Well, you're not doing nothing. You're doing aerobic training and you're doing strength work. And I think you've got to bear in mind that if you are doing run and bike sessions on top of strength training, you almost counteract it. So it should be a time of aerobic training, maybe a little bit of sessions here and there, but your key sessions should be strength. And it's all about how much you can tolerate. So if you can do lots of strength work and circuit-based stuff, lower limb stuff, shoulder strength stuff, you're going to be able to tolerate more swim, bike and run with less injury. You'll be less tired and you'll also produce more power and more speed. So that's why I think that strength is so important.
Yeah, so it's like a no-brainer basically, isn't it? You know, it's like win-win anyway. And I think that's what we're trying to get across here, that, you know, this is incredibly wide reaching, isn't it? Across, you know, every type of athlete that we coach, there's something that in it for everyone. And what we're going to put together here is enough resource and content that there's no one athlete would need all these sessions. It's for the coach to work out what's required for each athlete, you know, that will benefit them the most. So I know Claire's going to discuss what her and Rob have been working on and what they'll deliver from a circuits point of view. Claire?
Yeah, so we've had a chat and put together 2 circuit sessions that we're going to deliver live. Slightly different focus on each of them. So you can either pick in on Rob's session or my session. So Rob's going to look at a little bit more lower leg strength, a bit more work to help the running and the bike, just with the lower limb. And I'm going to work on some more sort of general total body, so upper body and lower body, core. We'll structure the session so they're probably going to be about an hour long. So you need to set aside an hour, and everybody should be able to do them with very minimal equipment in your own home. So you don't need to be doing this in a gym. You can do it. We'll record it as well. So if it doesn't fit with the timing, you'll be able to do it. But we'll structure it so we've got a good warm up in there. We've got some balance work, mobility, some glute activation work, cover all those bases, and then go into a main set with specific exercises, probably time-based because it's easier to manage, with everybody working off a minute's effort or 30 seconds. Give you lots of coaching points throughout the sessions to do it. And then there'll be an aerobic component to it as well. So those that you do want to get sweaty, and work hard. We'll be able to do it in this session as well. So you can work as hard or as easy as you want, and it's going to be more about quality. So it's not the number of reps you can get done in that 60 seconds, it's the number of quality reps you can get done. So it'll be about doing it properly, not just rushing it through. So that's going to be a key point. And we'll have a nice stretch at the end as well. So we're going to work on mobility, balance, main session, covering all the key muscle groups, and then cool it off with a stretch. Key exercise equipment's probably going to be pretty simple. So you're just going to need some mini bands, a larger loop band, maybe kettlebells and some dumbbells, but we'll get that out to everybody with exactly what they need. But it should be good fun.
Yeah, we'll detail or your coach will be in touch with information on equipment. Claire touched on the fact, an hour for a session, 2 1-hour sessions a week, depending on the combination of strength. It sounds like a lot, but actually when you're making these the key workouts of the week, of course it's not. It's shorter than most of the turbo sessions you do. So just jump straight in with Tom. Tom's going to give us a rundown on the lifting.
Yeah, so the fundamental strength side of it, but through October, we're literally going to be looking at technique, especially for the first couple of weeks. It's going to be one session. The one main session focus of the week is going to be learning the 5 key movement patterns. So we'll be looking at the squat, the hinge, push away from the body, pull towards the body, and then a brace of the trunk. So like in Rob and Claire's session, you're going to get the core exercises, but in the strength session, we're going to be looking at the brace and learning how to hold it and like reduce any unnecessary movement from it. The reason for the first 2 weeks especially is focusing purely on technique, not so much lifting as heavy as you can, is so we're engaging the right muscle groups. We're using the right muscles, like the glutes, for example, can be one of the most powerful muscle groups we can use, but it's also one of the least or the laziest muscle group in a lot of athletes. So if we can get the technique right, we can use the right muscle groups, and then from there we can build the weight. And if you're using the right groups, then you're going to lift even more later on into the winter. There's going to be appropriate progressions and regressions for each of the exercises. But the big thing as well is feedback from the key session, the strength session, as well as the circuit session. So in the workout itself, or in a note in Training Peaks, there's going to be a little part you can copy, and it will say the exercise that you've done, how many sets, how many reps, and your RPE for that exercise, so your rate of perceived exertion. So if you know you've had to do 3 sets of 15 reps, but you've only managed 12 because it felt a 10 out of 10, then your coach knows that we need to bring it back a little bit, maybe reduce the weight, reduce the exercise, and that kind of stuff. And then adding on to that comment, you can add any feedback you think is necessary. So are you struggling with certain movements? Do something feel strange while you're doing it? Are you struggling to get into certain positions? Are you only going so far in a squat? And your coach will be able to figure out certain things that could be limiting your performance later on. And as well as that, you can, if you really want to, you can set a video up, set your phone up, video your technique, send it to your coach, send it to one of us, and we'll be able to look through and then go from there.
Great. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, and I think you've really touched on, the fact that this is individualized to the athlete. It becomes a key session of the week where the communication shifts very much from how hard your turbo set was to how your strength and conditioning's going. We're trying to provide a platform where that feedback can be detailed, and we ensure progression, because that's the key. People need to finish this block stronger, and and having learned a lot as well. So yeah, look, we won't go on any longer than that. I think that gives everyone enough of a flavour, which is what we're trying to provide. Details to follow. Week commencing the 5th of October for those that are back on it. For anyone else still taking a break, enjoy it, or you may want to just dip your toe into 1 or 2 circuit classes to stop the cobwebs gathering. I'm sure even someone on a break can cope with one of those. So, and certainly learning the movement patterns will not take a lot out of you. So, again, this can be done. So thanks for listening. Thanks guys for providing this. Been a lot of work gone into this. So should be a good autumn and winter of strength work ahead. Thanks very much.